Are you ready to get unhinged? Introducing Gen X Unhinged, the bold new podcast hosted by Christian Cole and David Cole. These proud Republican Christians are diving headfirst into the issues that matter most: politics, faith, and everyday life in today's America. Expect unfiltered conversations rooted in conservative values and Christian convictions, tackling the challenges and triumphs of standing strong in a world that's anything but. From hot-button political debates to living out faith with conviction, Christian and David are here to spark discussion and connect with you. Yes, you. New episodes drop every Saturday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen. So, what's got you fired up? Subscribe now, rate 5 stars, and join the conversation with hashtag Gen X Unhinged. Tune in to Gen X Unhinged, and let's get real together. Find Gen X Unhinged at podcasts.apple.com/US/podcast/Gen X Unhinged. Or search on Spotify. Get unhinged today.
Welcome to Gen X Unhinged. My name is David Cole. Across the screen from me is my cousin Christian Cole, and we are just two normal, red-blooded American males that look at the world from a conservative viewpoint, and we want to share that with you today. Christian, how you doing?
Man, I'm great. How are you today?
You know, I'm pumped. We had a good week. We got a lot of good feedback on our first podcast, and I
Yeah, we
think we
did.
got
I
some
actually was
momentum.
really excited.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Absolutely.
So hey, let's jump right into it. We're talking about a new segment for the week, the Moron of the Week. I look back on the Barack Obama presidency and
Barack Hussein Obama.
Barack Hussein Obama. That's right. And for a long time, I thought, you know, he's not doing that bad. He's okay. And then as we got further into his presidency, he got worse and worse and worse. And so now, last week, we have this incredible peace negotiated by President Trump and his cabinet. And it's a time for people to put away their political biases, and Obama couldn't do it. He put out a little statement saying it's great that we have this peace. No mention of Trump, no mention of Trump's cabinet, nothing. Even Hillary gave credit to Trump. You know, Condoleezza Rice, Joe Biden wrote a really nice tweet about it. Bill Clinton had good things to say. Barack Obama, crickets.
Well, because
Barack
he knows he's going to
Obama,
jail. That's why.
Barack Obama, you are my moron of the week.
I agree wholeheartedly. That guy, he is something else. Like, you would have thought that he would have done something. He did nothing. And then to not even give this type of credit to Trump and this administration and what they did. I mean, it's amazing what they did. I mean, that we've been trying to do this for a million years. You know what I mean?
Yep.
As long as I've been alive, we've tried to do this. And just the fact that he got the hostages back and all of that. I mean, that's a wonderful thing. And for Barack Obama as the leader of the free world for 8 years, he was the leader, and he couldn't come out and praise Trump for doing this. I mean, you talk about bias. I mean, that's just out of control to me. That's just, I mean, that guy should be canceled as far as I'm concerned.
Wah, wah,
You know?
wah.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I think I'm going to have to go with Tim Waltz on this one. I posted a video on Gen X Unhinged about Tim Waltz, and he was signing the Driver's License for All Act out of Minnesota. And the Driver's License for All Act is basically what I talked about last week, is that it basically gives everybody in the state a driver's license. And so not only that, I gotta kind of give it to the people of Minnesota that voted for this guy voted him in. And also, it is what it is. The guy is just a complete moron. I don't know if you've seen any of his videos of him dancing around and doing whatever he did, but we dodged a bullet not having him as a vice president of the United States of America. I tell you what,
Right.
I almost think that he was a bigger bullet than Kamala, to be honest with you. But yeah,
And she was a big bullet.
she was a big boy, yeah, but this guy, he's out of control. I mean, so yeah, so I'm gonna go with Tim Walz on that. I think that he is an absolute moron. I think he should be voted out, and I think a lot of things that need to change. This voting registration scam, as far as I'm concerned, is coming out. We'll get more into that when we talk about Prop 50 in a little bit. But yeah, as my moron award today goes to Tim Walz for his absolute blatant bullshit leadership and defrauding the American people of the right to vote, in my opinion.
We got to pay tribute to, in our first podcast, we made some predictions. And
Yes,
so
we did.
we're going to start tracking these. We're going to have the Gen X files.
Absolutely.
Like that? That's awesome.
I do. I
So,
love it.
Christian,
I think it's great.
give us some Gen X files.
Okay, well, where to start? Well, you know what? We'll start with Zach Bryant. He kind of backpedaled a little bit. I mean, he hasn't backpedaled enough as far as I'm concerned with his anti-ICE song. I think that this is going to be he was embarrassed. He did. If you check with Grunk will say that he's kind of backpedaling. I couldn't find any hard evidence that was actually the case, but I'm going to keep looking up and I'm going to stay on it. And, we'll just stay on it. I'm pretty sure what's going to happen is his downloads are going to drop off. Like I said, he'll get a lot of pre-downloads in the beginning, but as as the liberals who back him up start to fall off because they don't really do anything, they'll stop following him. And I think I still think he's on the way for his Bud Light moment. I really do. Cracker Barrel moment. I think he's there.
You said that last week, and I had never heard that attributed that way. The Cracker Barrel Bud Light moment. And you put it out there, and now everybody's using that for Zach Bryan, that they're saying this could be his Cracker Barrel Bud Light moment.
Yes,
That's the
absolutely.
Gen X file right there.
Oh yeah. And then also, we got to talk about, Trump and the tariffs and using the money to keep the government alive. I mean, the fact of the matter is the Democrats keep voting no on this thing. They keep it down, and they're keeping the government shut down. And I was reading a thing, or I think it was you that told me, or that didn't Speaker Johnson come out and say something about that?
Yeah.
Said that they haven't changed the bill at all. That they asked the Republicans if they could take something out of the bill just to get the government to back open, and they didn't open the government back up. And Johnson says no. He goes, we can't change it. It's their bill. What can we take out of their bill? And that's why the government's still closed for the 10th time. I saw this morning they voted it to be closed. So here we go again, going into the 10th week of no government, which, to be honest with you, I think is a great thing. And, being on Facebook and reading and watching people and listening and seeing what they're writing, I really think the Republican Party really doesn't care. I think that we're happy with it as long as Trump keeps doing what he's doing and using the tariff money or using whatever money he's got at his disposal and keeping these programs open. And when he can't fund a program, he just cuts it off. That's great. I think that's phenomenal, and it keeps going. And like I said last week, I called this. I said that this was going to happen, that Trump is going to continue to do what he's doing. He's going to continue to use the Trump money, the tariff money. I'm gonna call it Trump money to continue the government going and what we need and what we don't need. I mean, I don't know if you've looked at the list at some of this crap that they tried to fund, their $1.3 trillion, but it's amazing. It is amazing what they want us to fund. It's amazing what's still in the bill that the Democrats are still trying to push through, that the Republicans have agreed to sign again. But it's just, it's going to continue the way it's at. And, I say keep it closed until until we get what we want. They keep it closed until the Republicans get what they want. We deserve it. We've worked hard for it. We've been dealing with this crap for a lot of years. Gen Xers especially. It's time to just keep it closed. I mean, even Reagan said sometimes it'd be best if the government would just close up and go away for a couple months. He said it in an interview, and I forget who the late night host was, but I watched it. So I know he said it, and he's right. He's absolutely right.
I think that was Johnny Carson.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It was on Johnny Carson, The Tonight Show, back when those shows were actually interesting.
Right. When they were actually funny, when they made fun of everybody.
Exactly.
And so for my final Gen X file there, Dave, I'm going to have to go with the Tim Waltz thing and the Prop 50 and the CDL stuff. The CDL stuff is really coming alive. I read a post. I actually posted on our Facebook Unhinged page the video of Tim Waltz signing in the Driver's License for All Act. And in that video, they actually talk about it. They actually talk about one of the ladies that are there. She sits down and asks the question specifically, can they vote if they get these driver's licenses without proper identification, without Social Security, without validation of address, all this stuff. And he said, yeah, it comes back as incomplete. Well, incomplete. So, but with that incomplete, they still get the card and they still get the picture. And they can still walk in and they can vote. Yeah, it is. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely insane that they're able to do this. So then, and that's why it kind of all ties into the Prop 50 and how this is a nationwide thing. In California right now, we have Prop 50, which is huge news. I'm going to read you a tweet from Gavin Newsom that I posted. It says, Trump is about to steal nearly 20 more seats in Congress. The Supreme Court is poised to wipe out the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and eliminate representation for the black and brown communities in our country. The GOP knows they cannot win. They are threatening governors, rigging maps across the country, and have now recruited SCOTUS to do their dirty work for them. That is the complete opposite of the truth. Basically, what they're doing is they've taken the power away from the people. They've moved it. They're trying to move it back to the politicians. And then they got the Democrats convinced that this is the right way to go. And then what that actually ends up happening is when they redraw these maps, if they put a Democratic person in charge of that district and the black and brown have voted for Trump in that district, they lose their right. They actually lose their right to vote. We are actually repressing the black and brown vote in the state of California by this new Prop 50. And it's crazy to me how the Democrats, it is exactly opposite. What they say and what they're doing are complete opposites. Like, this is why it's so important that, if in the United States in general, you got to pay attention to California. You got to pay attention to this Prop 50, because what they're doing is they're making us, again, they're making the Republicans look like we're racist, and we're not racist. Okay. We never have been white supremacists. We've never been that, since 2016, actually since 2008. Republicans have been beat up on. We've been called racist, misogynist, every name in the book since Barack Obama. I remember back in the day when Barack Obama was running for president, I didn't like his views, but because I didn't like his views, I was automatically a racist. I'm sure all you guys felt that same pressure, and how could you not? So, and then 2016, same thing. So what they do is they put it on us, and I don't understand why they do it, but they continually do it, and it's not fair, and they're stealing elections. And it's all right here. I mean, they're rigging it via the gerrymandering and all that they're doing. And they keep saying, we got to fight back against Texas. Well, why? We're not in Texas. We're in the state of California. And in the state of California, we have this right. We voted as a people in 2010 to give it to the private district. Okay, there's a reason for that. Now they're saying that they want to give it back temporarily. Bullshit, temporarily. It's not going to be temporary. It's not going to be. They're never going to put it back on the ballot. There's never going to be back on the ballot. Number one, in one case, in the other case, if it does win, then when we have our main election, for the governor, maybe we'll get a Republican governor. And if a Republican governor comes in, maybe he can come in and slap it down. Oh, but did you notice that it's only temporary until 2030? Do you know why it's only temporary till 2030? Because that's when the president will be in, and they'll be able to change the law back to where it was before, so that they can do it again. I mean, they are definitely playing games here.
Definitely. And you called it. I mean, you just nailed it last week, and that's pretty impressive because it's exactly what they're doing, padding the padding the rolls,
Oh,
and
they're absolutely padding the rolls, and people are walking in, like in that video on Gen X Unhinged. It specifically asked that question, and she says, "So if somebody can walk in and vote with that ID, that correct?" The guy says yes, and then they go back to the lady, and the lady's like, "Well, that's kind of what I wanted to know." So, I mean, in all actuality, that's exactly what they're doing. They are exactly cheating. They are exactly have illegal immigrants being counted in the rolls, and they're using it to redraw districts. And not top it all off, illegal immigrants are voting in national elections, nationwide and statewide elections, and we are being controlled by the power of the Democrats because they use these illegal immigrants for their benefit. That's why there's such a big fight. That's why we're giving them health care. That's why we're spending so much money. We can't, we're all worried about all this stuff, but we can spend $250 million on an election here in California. Hey, why don't you put it towards the high-speed rail we still don't have? Why don't we build a high-speed rail from Northern California to Mexico and use that to deport these guys at high speed? That's all I'm saying.
so when this vote is going to be in November, right?
November 4th, yes.
And do you
Yes.
have any idea how the polls look or anything on this right now?
No, absolutely not. They're not telling us anything. You can't really tell because it's all taken care of. Like Facebook, they're still under lock. Everybody's under lock and key. You're not seeing anything about it. Just like the Republican governors. If I didn't forward the governor stuff or I didn't post in these different places, you'd never even know who's running for governor. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know all these Californians that are actually running for governor because you can't, because the Democratic Party won't tell you. And as far as I can tell on my Facebook, I'm connected with a lot of these private groups and a lot of these groups and stuff. And, everybody, I would say overwhelmingly what I have seen, 90% of the people that I've seen online have been saying no on 50. Because they know it's a scam. They know it's bullshit. Even Democrats see it for what it is. The fact of the matter is we voted in 2010 to make it private. And the reason why we made it private is so that the politicians didn't have control. And anytime you vote to give the government more power, you got a problem. I mean, overall, as a person, it's ridiculous that you would do that. And it's funny because I was talking to my daughter the other day and I was like, do you understand what this means? The conservative party means conservative government. We want a conservative government, small government that dibble dabbles here and there, controls big things. But as far as the day-to-day stuff, we don't want anything to do with that. Liberal, it means liberal government. They want to control everything. They want to have control over absolutely everything. And they want you to do exactly what they say they want you to do.
Which goes right back to the government shutdown. The Democrats want us to fund illegal aliens, want to give them health care, let them come in, all these different things. And
right, well,
the Republicans are saying no more.
Right. And it all ties in because you can't go to a hospital and get health care without an ID. So they're using the ID as a further to be able to get you into the hospitals. Well, the immigrants know this, the illegal immigrants know this, and they know that if Republicans come into power, that they'll lose their health care. They'll have to be deported. That's why they continue to do what they do. And most of them don't show up anyway, and I honestly believe they're feeding these ballots, and they have nothing to compare it against, I mean, we had 42% of the vote for Trump. I don't care where you look, what you see. Fact of the matter is, the state of California is right on the hinge of turning red. It can go. It will go if we could just get the numbers right.
Yep. Just a little aside on the state of Oregon, going through a lot of similar things. And there's a pretty strong recall effort right now for Tina Kotek. And the Republicans are starting to get traction in Oregon, and people are saying enough.
Right, and you guys legalized a bunch of drugs too, right? Like meth and all that stuff is all. Yeah. So yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I've talked to people all the time, and the fact of the matter is, is we as a people, as Republicans right now, our generation, Gen X, this is our civil war. This is our everything. I mean, we are changing the government as we speak, and we're doing it on paper. We're doing it right. We're not, we're not doing the insurrection BS that they talked about January 6th. Those people didn't show up to do
Right.
that. They showed up to the people's house unarmed. They have a right to be in that house. I'm sorry. It is what it is. There was a lot of them. That's a whole nother thing. But it's crazy to me. Again, I was talking to my daughter the other day and we were talking about it, and she made something about a revolution, and I looked her right in the eye and I said, hon, this is my revolution. This is my civil war. This is how we're fighting it. We're doing it right. We're voting. People are standing up, and our enemy is illegal votes. Our enemy is people within our country that aren't even American, fighting against us within our own country. I mean, that's really what it is.
Christian,
And
I
ICE
got
is
a
on the
great
front
story.
line.
I got a great
Okay.
story. So let's just do story time with Dave for a minute. All right.
Okay. Okay.
So let's go back to the day after Pearl Harbor was bombed. And at that
Oh,
point,
I'm not that
Britain,
old. You that old?
I had to read this. I wasn't there either.
Okay. Okay. Good. 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 Good.
So Winston Churchill was the prime minister of Britain, and they were getting slaughtered by the Germans. They were losing over 1,000 soldiers a day. They just barely got out of Dunkirk. Things were bad, and so they had these underground war cabinet meetings. And so one day at 9 a.m., Winston Churchill walks in the day after Pearl Harbor. He's got a bottle of whiskey in one hand and a cigar in the other. And he walks in and he goes, "Gents, we have won the war." And they looked at him like, "What an idiot. I mean, are we hearing you correctly?" And they were like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Gents, I'm telling you, we have won the war." And you can just imagine one of them going, "Oh, bloody hell," or something like
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh
Just,
yeah.
just
Oh yeah. I mean, you're losing 30,000 troops a month, and somebody
yeah,
says that.
exactly.
Yeah, they might try
Exactly.
the 25th Amendment if they had it.
And so he says, "Listen to me. I've been with Americans. I've studied Americans. Yesterday, when Pearl Harbor was bombed, they joined our world war. They are sometimes slow to react. They are sometimes they're asleep at the wheel. But I tell you, when they're in it, we have won the war. America and us are going to win the war." And I think that's a perfect analogy to the Republican Party. We were a little slow. We kind of let
Well,
things
we weren't
slide.
slow. We were just being politically correct. We're Gen
We're
Xers. We
happy.
don't
Yeah,
do anything until we're pushed.
right. We're nice people. We don't want to offend anybody. And we finally said, enough. We are at this war now, and we are going to win it. And I just really feel like that a lot of things in our world is changing because we're standing up for them and we're making things right. So
Right, and that's the
it
thing.
is
And,
our
and
revolution.
ICE is our front line. I mean, if you think about it, our ICE and our Homeland Security right now, they are on the front lines of this civil war because they're getting rid of the people. Not that the people are bad, but it's the votes that are behind the people that are bad. So
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? So it's not the illegal aliens. I mean, a lot of them are really bad, and there's a lot of them that aren't really bad. But you've been here 30 years. I had a driver's license
Yep.
since I was 16. Like, what's the deal with your paperwork? Like, it's not my fault that you didn't get off your butt to go do the paperwork. Oh, that's because you wanted to work for cash. You didn't want to pay taxes. That's why you did that.
Exactly.
So, and it's horrible. And why should you? If you get everything anyway, all you got to do is vote and everything is free anyway. Why should you? Absolutely. Why should you do that? It doesn't make any sense to me at all. And we are doing it. We are getting it done. We are voting. People, I remember, another quick story is 2015, me and you and my father were on the way to Reno and we were talking about the presidential thing or the presidential election.
Yep.
And I said to you in the car, I said, I think Trump's going to pull this off. And you said specifically, no, Christian, we don't have the power Hillary Clinton will be the next president. And I said, that
Yeah,
is
I
not
did.
going to happen. I believe the people. I believe this is going to happen. I believe the Republicans are going to stand up. And we did. And we would have again in 2020. But we all know what happened in that fiasco. But let me tell you this. I told my wife when this all went down, when Biden got elected into president, I said, you know what? I said, before this country can change, it has to get bad. It has to get really bad. It will never change until it's the worst it could possibly be. And in 2020, we realized that it was the worst it could possibly be. And that's why we came out fighting. And in reality, the best thing for this country, sounds horrible, was maybe that Trump did lose the 2020 election. Maybe it was, because we wouldn't have had the exposure. We wouldn't have had everything that we have today. I think by him losing that election, which he didn't lose, but that's a whole nother story. But I think by that happening, by Biden coming into power and people realizing what had happened and living the shit show and living everything that happened and being put down for so long, they finally realized, hey, maybe they're right. And we have been controlled by 10%. 10% of the population, mind you, for the past since 2016. Over 10 years, we've been controlled by 10% of the population, the fringe group of the left. And we were all afraid to say anything, but why would you be? You couldn't go on social media. You couldn't go anywhere. I mean, you put a Trump thing on your car in California in 2020, they destroyed your car.
Oh, it was
I mean,
scary.
it was crazy. It was scary. It was scary, you know? I mean, I didn't want anybody to know that I was a Trump supporter, you know what I mean? And when I did, I was online, but, you know, I removed all my stuff so nobody could find out where I lived. But thank God I'm in a small conservative town, so I got that going for me. But, you know, it's good to see it. It's motivating, and people are in a better mood. You notice that you know, Republicans were happier in general because, for one, we're finally winning, and two, when we knew we were winning, we didn't see it. So now we're seeing
Yeah.
it and feeling it and loving it, and we're happy. And we're not bad people. We love people, you know?
You know what? I got another story for you.
Okay, okay.
So I went on to AI and said, "Hey, I feel like Republicans are happier than Democrats. Is that true?" And it spit out all these different uh, studies that have been done over the last 20 years, and it said yes, Republicans are happier people. There's the most recently, Newsweek did a poll or a survey, and they found that 81% of Republicans are happy and satisfied with their life.
Yeah, and we always
Democrats,
were.
yeah, exactly. And Democrats, it's under 70%.
Well,
So
absolutely,
that's not
because they're always
huge, but
angry.
they're always angry. They
Right.
seem to be always angry.
And you
I mean,
can't control happy people. That's the problem. You can't control happy people, so they keep the Democrats pissed off and angry all the time because they can control that anger, and that's what they feed them. That's how they keep them under control, and that's how they do what they want the Democrats to do. That's how the Democrat gets them to do what they want to do.
and so even beyond that, the year before in 2024, they did a study of
Okay.
women 18 to 40-year old Republicans are 30% happier than 18 to 40-year-old Democrats.
That's
And they
because
gave, they gave, go ahead, give it. Why,
no,
why is it?
it's because they date Republican men. They date confident, not well-to-do, but they date confident, motivated men that are Republican, and that, how could you not be happy? You know what I mean? I mean,
It,
if you, I'm just saying.
I'm with you, but it goes even further. It's because more Republican women are married, they have a relationship with God, and they have community. And so they have their faith, their family, and community, where Democrat women are lagging behind in that. That's why
Right,
they're
right. And
happier.
they also have a flag and they have pride at their home. Okay. There's a whole nother thing that, you know, then they do. I can see that. And as a man, like, I will never know what it's like to be a woman. That's one thing I don't understand about the whole transgender movement is, how do you know? You know, you're miserable being a man, so maybe you want to be a woman. How do you know? I mean, how do you know that you're going to be? I mean, You don't even know what it feels like to be a woman. So how do you know that's going to be better? But that's a whole nother topic. But, yes, yeah. And we are happier in general as men too. I mean, I couldn't imagine being a man dating a liberal woman. I couldn't even.
Oh,
Oh my God! Always right about everything, but they know nothing. That's the whole thing. There's nothing worse than a liberal millennial, right? Because they absolutely know nothing, but they act like they know everything there is to know. And women are like that in general. But when it comes to that, I can't. I just can't.
okay. Let's not get canceled by our
Right.
significant others here. So,
Oh, yeah. If that could
but
be the case, I'd have been canceled a long time ago. I've been
that's
canceled
true.
about 12 years ago.
But this is where Karens come from, right?
Yes, yes,
This
yes.
is
The super Karens, super
unfortunately.
Karens.
Well,
Yes,
super Karens. That's your what's a super Karen?
a super Karen is basically what it's their next level Karens, where when you see them online, I call them the SKs personally, but they're the people that you see online that just won't give up. Like they're complaining and yelling about something that makes absolutely no sense, but they just won't be wrong. Like they go next level over nothing, like literally nothing. Like even though they're wrong or they're doing exactly what they are telling you, like you'll see them standing on the sign with a anti-fascist sign, right?
Yeah.
And a freedom of speech sign and the right to be heard and the right to talk, while they in turn take this sign and shove it in the reporter's face and don't talk to them and blow whistles, stifling their speech. I mean, that's a super Karen. And men can be super Karens too. We'll call them super Kens, but in reality, they're super Karens.
Okay. Did you see the video of the super Karens in Washington that were storming
Oh yeah, they
around
stormed. Yeah, they
the
stormed. Yeah,
Capitol?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Didn't even take the time to call to see if he was there. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
What are you going to do? I mean, you're going to storm this guy's office. He's not even there. What are you going to accomplish? Nothing. You're going to get on camera looking like an idiot so the rest of your idiot followers can be right there with you going, yeah, resist, resist. What are you resisting? You ain't resisting anything. What you're resisting is opening up the government. That's what you're doing. Okay. You shut the government
Yeah.
down. You're resisting, open it up, and you're trying to make yourself look good. Look here, Super Karen. You don't. You don't look good at all. You look like a freaking moron, as far as I'm concerned. And then you got Jeffries running around talking crap. That guy's another moron. I mean, literally, for the moron award, I could put a dartboard up with the Democratic Party and throw it. I guarantee you I'll find a reason to give him an award because it's all there. Every one of them has one. Every one of them. Like on Unhinged,
Yep.
I posted this video with Hakeem Jeffries talking about how he doesn't understand the Democratic Party taking PAC money. Then the lady says, well, you take PAC money. He goes, well, that's different. That's just a minor amount. It's $800,000. Okay, yeah, minor amount. I don't know about you.
800.
$800,000 is a lot of effing money for me. All right,
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
retire on $800,000.
It's crazy. That's crazy.
It's
So,
insane. It's absolutely
yeah.
insane.
So we talked a little bit about California and Prop 50 and vote no on Prop 50.
Yes, yes. And no matter where you're at, where you're listening to this, whether you're in California or you're in New York or Wisconsin, or we got people from Canada that listen. We got some Republicans from Scotland that listen. Get on this, push the no on 50, get it out there. We need your help in Cali. We need all the Republicans to stand up and just push no on 50, no on 50. Just bring it from everywhere so that everybody sees it all the time, because this is what we know about Democrats, their followers. And if they will follow winners, because they're not. So if they see all this publicity and all this stuff coming out about Prop 50 and that so many people are against it, maybe they might take the time to look at it and they might change their vote. I doubt it, but it might happen.
Yep.
And then
So
we need.
you got anything on the government shutdown this week?
I just know that they shut it down again today. They voted 10. They went on vacation. They went in, voted not to open it up, and went on vacation. So must be nice. But like I said, it just doesn't matter. Trump's going to do what he wants to do. Just blocked 120 from doing mass layoffs. Well, you're right. He can't. I guess now that you passed that law, he can't lay him off. But you know what he can do? He can just shut the program down. Okay. So what are you going to
Yep.
do? He's not laying you off.
So I've had people say to me that, this Trump, he is not he's not a God-fearing man. He's not a Christian. I hang around a lot of Christians, so that's where I'm a Christian, and so that's where a lot of my people I hang out with come from. And they're like, I'm not sure I can like President Trump because he's just not holy enough, or what, just a little bit goofy there. Well, I did a little bit of research, and so again, a little story time with Dave. And there was there was an emperor in the Old Testament of the Bible named Cyrus, and he was an awful, ungodly man. But he did a lot of the things that President Trump is doing right now. He realized that God's purposes are bigger than his purposes. He was an imperfect vessel. He freed the Jewish people, just like President Trump has done. He saw the bigger picture. So even though he didn't put God first in everything, he was a leader for a time like this. I think President Trump has come a long way. I think Charlie Kirk did a really amazing thing, and President Trump started to see what Charlie was talking about. But there are times when he does stuff, you're just not real sure about. I think he's a leader for a time like now. What do you think of
Let me
that?
ask you this. This is the kind of, I think that you're right, but look at it from this perspective. As a Gen X perspective, the people that are Christian, and I don't know this, but that I run into that are anti-Trump or not anti, but they just can't handle it. Like
Yeah,
they're
they're
kind of
nervous.
push off, they get, and they're nervous. And this is the thing. It's, in my opinion, it's because they're newer Christians. Okay. People like me and you, we've been raised in the church from beginning of time. I mean, we
Right,
don't know life before church.
right.
It's all one thing to us. So in reality, we have an open mind to be able to accept all of that, because when we were growing up, we were the fringe. Everybody went to church, but not everybody went to church. There was still the outer fringes. So we were raised in the outer fringes. So we understood it. We understood people that act like Trump and talk like Trump and move like Trump. We understand it. And we know that they're not sinners. We know that they're not, well, not they're not sinners, but we know that they can be God fearing, but be more worldly. Sometimes as Christians, we get down the rabbit hole and I've always said that there's two things in the world there's two things in this world I really don't like. It is first time moms and first time Christians. Okay. First time Christians and first time moms. They know everything they know. And the problem is they have such a great view. They have a great perspective and they're really charged and they're really about it. But the problem is they block out everything else. They don't listen to the world. Just an opinion, just an opinion.
Well, I think there's some truth to what you're saying, but there is also, anytime you get something new, you're excited about it. And so
Correct.
I
No.
think that's
And
a
that's fine.
natural. Yeah.
No.
And so
Yeah,
that's what you're
that makes
referring to.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And it's okay. It's just that when, like myself, I've been in church my whole life, and I'll be talking to first time Christians, and I'll start to give them my views, and then they'll continue to tell me how bad of a Christian I am, and it drives me crazy because I'm just like, no, I'm not a bad Christian. I just look at things differently, and not. And I don't know. That's why I have that opinion. Being raised in the church, I was raised around a lot of Sunday Christians. And, a Sunday Christian to me is somebody that came, to use the phrase lightly, they were doing what they were doing on Saturday night at the bar, but they're speaking tongues in the church on Sunday. I mean, and judging on top of it. So
yeah,
I don't know, like, I have mixed feelings about that.
I know you do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
my perspective on this is that, Jesus was asked, what's the most important commandment? And he said to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. It's not my job to judge you or anybody else. It's my
correct.
job to love them.
Correct.
And that's
Correct.
what we're trying to
Correct.
do. And I think
Right.
you
And
do a
that,
good job. I know you do a good job of that.
Yeah, and I
You know,
try, and it's like, it's like I've always said, like with the transgender rights and the LGBTQRSBW9 alphabet, I don't know, but with that group of people, I don't care what you do, I don't care who you sleep with, I don't care how you dress up, I don't care what you do. That's between you and God. That isn't my. That's not for me to judge. I'm not a judger. I don't judge you. That is between you and God, and I don't know. That's between you and Him. But just stay away from the kids and stay out of the sports. That's all I'm saying when it comes to that. Kind of it, I guess.
I like it. Hey,
Yeah.
it's been a great show. We've hit on a lot of things. We've got some new segments with the Moron of the Week, the Gen X Files. We've hit Prop 50. We've hit the government shutdown. We've talked about happy Republicans. Uh, you let me go off on Dave's story time a couple
Yeah,
times.
yeah,
I
that was good. That
appreciate
was
that.
good. That was good. Absolutely. I loved it.
So
I loved it.
if you've made it this far in our podcast, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. If you get a chance, somehow figure out how to follow us. I can't even figure that out always
Yeah,
yet, but
just go to
you
the
can.
podcast and you'll see. Yeah, it'll say follow. Just click the follow. You don't worry about subscribing. We're not subscribed yet. So just hit follow and then go to Gen X Unhinged on Facebook. It's a private group. I want to give a shout out to Kenny Buckmiller, and Robert Newberry. They've been helping out a lot with the Gen X Unhinged page. We have a lot of new things coming. I'm working with a lot of other people to turn up the show, and it's going to be. We got good things happening. We have great things happening, actually.
Great things happening.
Yeah, so be
All
sure
right,
to be
Christian.
sure to sign up for the Unhinged site. Just go there, become a member of it. You'll get all of our updates and all the posts and everything that we talk about pre the first show and during the week because we do a show once a week. We'll be talking about a lot of the subjects about that. I got a lot of things that I'm going to be unrolling on the Gen X Unhinged site. So get over there, check it out, follow the site, and have a great weekend.
Yeah, God bless you and God bless America.
Absolutely. God bless America. Have a great weekend, guys.
Are you ready to get unhinged? Introducing Gen X Unhinged, the bold new podcast hosted by Christian Cole and David Cole. These proud Republican Christians are diving headfirst into the issues that matter most: politics, faith, and everyday life in today's America. Expect unfiltered conversations rooted in conservative values and Christian convictions, tackling the challenges and triumphs of standing strong in a world that's anything but. From hot-button political debates to living out faith with conviction, Christian and David are here to spark discussion and connect with you. Yes, you. New episodes drop every Saturday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen. So, what's got you fired up? Subscribe now, rate 5 stars, and join the conversation with hashtag Gen X Unhinged. Tune in to Gen X Unhinged, and let's get real together. Find Gen X Unhinged at podcasts.apple.com/US/podcast/Gen X Unhinged. Or search on Spotify. Get unhinged today.